is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com. MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome into the Chock Box here with Ty Roderiques on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman, sitting in with Ty here on our one of our first shows. I should say we've done one before, but we'll do one again here this afternoon. Let you get a little bit more used to and get to know Ty Roderiques of the Nebraska gymnastics team, men's gymnastics team. Ty, how's it going? It's been a few weeks since we've been able to speak, but you're settling in. Of course, Husker football season, Husker classes underway. How are things going so far?
Yeah, it's good to be back. I missed it here. Things is going pretty well. You know, school just started, so I've been having to stay on top of homework and everything, but it's going pretty well.
Yeah, how is the homework load so far?
It's more than I thought it was going to be, but I'm staying on top of it.
So. Fair enough. That's the best way to do it. Is try not to wait. Of course, I always waited till this is due the next day. I try to do it overnight, and then you're sleepy and you can't get it done. So hopefully you're planning ahead a little bit for that as well. So what have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
I went home for a couple weeks. Saw my parents, saw my teammates. That was good. And now I'm back, and we just started fall training and gym, and it's been really good. Just been hanging out with friends, getting used to the city again. It's been nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for those that don't know, or if you're first time listening, Ty, where is home and what makes it special, I suppose, to go back?
I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, so I only get to go back a couple times a year. So it's pretty special the few times I get to.
Yeah, is it? I'm assuming that's a bit of a drive. So is that a flight? Yeah,
yeah.
I'd assume that'd be a flight, unless you really enjoy driving across several states. Yeah. So what is the path from Lincoln to Knoxville? You have to go through Omaha and.
Yeah, you gotta. I think I flew Knoxville to Chicago to Omaha, and then the hour drive from Omaha to Lincoln. So it was about like a 7-hour travel day.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
So what is it like in Knoxville? We might have a little bit of understanding of a football crazed city to a degree.
Yeah.
But what are the key differences, I would say, between Knoxville and Lincoln, if you could?
I would say the key differences about Knoxville is scenery. You know, when you're in Knoxville, you see mountains everywhere. It's very hilly, and obviously it's not quite like that here.
Sure.
But besides that, it's honestly not too different. Everyone here is very passionate about the university and the community. And I would say in Tennessee, it's very similar. And I like that. I love the culture there. And I would just really have to say the scenery, the weather is a little bit different, but besides that, not too many differences.
Now, with those hills and mountains, where is that somewhere we would find you maybe growing up on the weekends? Would you go out? Would you more of a nature guy than maybe what you're allowed
Yeah,
to
I
be
don't
here?
mind. I don't mind. I like the lakes. There's a
Sure.
lot of lakes. So
Yeah,
I don't mind those.
yeah, lakes work out at least.
Yeah.
There's some sort of nature we can find outside of some cornfields here. But it is good. It is good city, obviously, to be in for Lincoln, and so hopefully you are enjoying it thus far. You mentioned a little bit what the gymnastics team is doing and what you are doing. I mean, it's not just a normal, certain guys on the gymnastics team might be going through a second or third time. But for you, it's the freshman season. So what is kind of the onboarding and the start in the beginning to prepare for your collegiate career kind of been so far?
It's been challenging. It's been very challenging. So we are not normal. Our team this year, we have 8 freshmen. Most teams bring in 3 or 4. So the freshmen this year is half the team. So there's a lot more being expected out of the freshmen this year as opposed to a normal team. So that just means that the workload has been even harder than it normally would be anywhere else. So it's definitely been hard to adjust to that. We just split off into 3 separate training groups to get more specialized training while we're in the gym. And, it's long hours, it's hard days, it's aches and pains left and right. But we've been getting through it. We've been pushing through week 1 down. And I'm proud of the way we handled ourselves this week because we had a lot thrown at us, but it went pretty well.
All right, so we got to know what is the typical day in the life of a student athlete, Ty Roderiques, so far. Now that you're kind of settling in, figuring out what those days look like. Of course, not in season, but out of season so far. What does that kind of look like from morning to nighttime?
So right now, about a day in the life for me is we have 7 a.m. weights 3 days a week. So I have that. And then after that, I usually go to the training table for breakfast. And then my first class is at 9:30. And then I'm done with school at about 12. And then I will eat lunch, go back to my dorm real quick, get some homework done, go to the gym from about 2 to 6, dinner, and then go home. And after that, I either just chill with friends, call my parents. Sometimes I'll go outside and play some volleyball or some basketball, but then do some homework and go to bed. Not too crazy.
Yeah. So what is how has been kind of making friends in Lincoln? Did you know anybody when you got here?
I knew a couple guys.
Okay, from the team.
Yeah, from the team. I knew of them and I knew their names and we were on a handshake basis, but now we've gotten a lot closer since we've been here together. So that's been nice.
Yeah, and we talked about this before, but it's kind of interesting for maybe new listeners and again, just in general to kind of bring it up because a lot of gymnastics and some other sports are like that. You have a team, but a lot of it's kind of on yourself as an individual, PR records and all that. How important is kind of team chemistry?
Team chemistry is just about the most important thing that exists because yes, gymnastics is an individual sport. And yes, when you're up there, you're the only person up there, but you're doing it for your team. And, you can have a bad day, but your team can still win. But if you don't show up and bring a good attitude and bring good sportsmanship and you're not a good teammate, then that will affect your team. And ultimately, you can be the best gymnast in the world or in the country, and that still doesn't necessarily mean that your team will be the best. So you can't just be a good athlete, but you have to be a good teammate if you want your team to be the best that it possibly can be. And if you don't, you're kind of just a selfish person.
Yeah. Arthur, have you had teammates like that before that just kind of really zero in on themselves and don't really?
No, I've never had teammates like that.
Well, yeah, thankfully. So you've already been good, part of a good environment. Maybe we should do a little bit of kind of gymnastics 101 because I know you're an all around performer, and sometimes you're so used to just kind of throwing out terms and obviously in the gymnastic community people know. I think there's a lot of people in Nebraska and part of kind of the mission of this station and the show is to kind of highlight some of these sports that maybe people don't completely know. And so maybe it kind of turns them off from well, maybe I'm not qualified to be a fan of this sport. But then, a lot of it, and this is throughout life, not just sports, there's a lot of acronyms that if you just kind of break them down, you can kind of figure out what you're looking for. And so whether it's acronyms or just kind of shortened terms or whatever it might be, first let us run through what an all around performer might be, and then when you kind of go through those events, kind of walk through them like you're explaining it to a young person just getting involved in gymnastics.
Yeah, of course. So I am an all-arounder, which means that I do 6 events. And there are 6 events in men's gymnastics as opposed to the 4 events in women's gymnastics. No, men do not do the beam or the uneven bars. A lot of people think they do, but we don't. We do the floor exercise, the pommel horse, the still rings, the vault, the parallel bars, and the high bar. So most people tend to do all around, but there will be some people that specialize in a couple events. But I do the all around, and the first event is floor, and floor is a 40 by 40 rectangular bouncy surface that you tumble on it, and you have to do one non-acrobatic skill in your routine. And the goal is really to just stick the landing as much as possible. It's pretty straightforward. And then pommel horse, a lot of people do know pommel horse. That's like the most well-known men's event that I would say,
Sure.
but it's the event that's it's the wooden like surface with the 2 handles, and you can circle around it. You can do spins around it, and you can go up to a handstand, do turns around it. And it's definitely the hardest event because you have to be incredibly strong, not just in your body, but in your mind. And it's very hard to stay on and like not fall off and not get dizzy. And then still rings is the next event. It's the 2 wooden circles, and you have to hold yourself up and stuff. And you do dismounts, and you also try to stick the landing in that. That's a big theme in gymnastics is whatever you do, you have to stick the landing. But people don't realize just how hard the still rings is. Like they could see a video of like the best person in the world attempting an insane strength combo, and he makes it look so easy that an average person would be like, oh, I mean, that was cool. That looked pretty cool. But gymnasts know that what this man just did took 5 to 10 years of strength building to try and get to this point to even make it look that good. And I would say that that's something that I wish people understood more about. This was just how hard it was, because some people make it look really easy, but it is very hard. And still rings requires so much strength. Like, call me biased, but I think it is a lot more impressive if you can hold an iron cross than if you can bench 245 pounds.
Sure.
But that's just me. Vault is the event that you sprint down the runway and you hit a springboard and you hit the table and you can twist, you can flip, and then you try to stick the landing. It's probably the most self-explanatory event. Parallel bars is the 2 parallel bars, the 2 wooden bars, and you can swing below them, over them, around from one side to the other, and then you have to do a dismount and stick it. And then the horizontal bar is just the 10-foot tall bar that you can swing around. You can do releases where you let go and you catch it again, and that would be all the events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So along your gymnastics journey, do you start with a few events? I mean, how do you kind of figure out that you're good at certain events, and then I understand basic athleticism and strength could help you in each one of them. I don't want to say basic, but like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of you guys, I'm sure, could do standing backflips and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's a different element. So none of it is basic. But I guess what I'm saying is once you kind of figure out you are maybe a gymnast or have some sort of future there. I mean, how do you kind of get introduced to each subject, or do you kind of work on one thing for a couple of years and then slowly kind of get introduced to everything, or how is that? Is it journey the same for everybody?
So I would say the journey is very similar for everybody. When you start gymnastics, you start in like recreational classes, just it's not doing the actual events, but it's doing like kiddie version of it. And you start there. And some people are obviously more talented at some things. Like, a person could be more talented at vault, a person could be more talented at pommel horse. And that doesn't mean that they're necessarily never going to be good at another event. Some things just take time. Like, people develop later, people develop earlier. So it's never smart to just drop an event if you're not good at it when you're 13 years old. Like, it's really good to just keep grinding and keep persevering through and see how you end up later on. But I would say that a lot of being good at an event can come down to like archetype and body type. Like a taller, leaner guy is going to be better at pommel horse as opposed to vault and floor. And then a shorter, stocky guy will probably be better at floor and vault as opposed to pommel horse. So that also plays a role into it. And you never really know how good somebody's going to be when they start, but you can get a good idea about how talented they are. But it doesn't matter how talented somebody is if they're not going to work to try and get to that high level, then they're never going to reach it.
Mm. And then I guess another question that I would have, because I've kind of seen and followed gymnastics over the years, what is kind of the path, I suppose, post college, because I know sometimes as far as certain sports opportunities are a little bit limited sometimes after that. And then I also know there is in gymnastics, maybe especially a benefit to being a little bit younger, and that's most sports. But is it kind of play out that way, or how many, or kind of when do most gymnasts hang it up?
So I would say that most gymnasts retire honestly after college. So like 23, 24. There's not like a professional league, like there's not like an NGA or anything, which I wish there was, but there's not. And most people after college decide to just hang up the grips, retire, because it's very hard to continue. Because if you're continuing, you are just training for the national team every year. That's pretty much all you're doing if you're continuing with the sport. And there's not like many places you can go. Like the Olympic Training Center, when it used to have a team, that's where most people go in Colorado. But that was shut down. Their program was shut down when COVID hit. So there's one gym in Florida that people go to. It's called Evo Evolution. A lot of people will go there. A lot of Olympians train there. And that's sort of like the professional team, I would say. But if you continue on planning on training, you can still train at your collegiate gym. You just can't compete for them at the NCAA level, but you can still compete for them outside of those meets. So some people do that, but most gymnasts do retire at the age of like 23, 24.
Hmm. That's interesting. And so, what would kind of, you mentioned it, you'd like there to be to kind of a pro level. Is there anything ever that you've seen I mean, because we see it in, like in volleyball, especially here in the state of Nebraska, a couple pro leagues starting up in volleyball and trying to get that movement going. Has there been attempts at it, or has it just really never been much going in that direction?
Unfortunately, there's not enough hype around the sport to even consider that. I mean, a pro league at minimum would need to have like what, 10 teams, and the NCAA level right now only has like 16 teams, which is very unfortunate, the amount of disrespect that our sport receives, which is something that I'm trying to change. I'm trying to bring more awareness to it and trying to get people to turn their heads more, because every single person that I've ever met that has actually sat down and watched a gymnastics competition has told me that that was some of the most intense, awesome 2 hours of my life watching that. And so if we can just get more people turning their heads, turning on the TV and watching, then I think that maybe a professional league could be something down the road. But at minimum, more collegiate places will get on board and having more teams and giving more people opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have an idea of why there's only 16 teams out there?
Well, the basic answer is gymnastics is an expensive sport. I mean, a gym is a lot of money. The equipment's a lot of money. Traveling's a lot of money. And with the new Title IX rules, we have to pay, or not we, but colleges have to pay football players $22 million a year. And that means that they have to take money from other sports to fund these football players. And when you look at a sport that already doesn't have high revenue because a lot of people aren't coming because it's unpopular, it's so easy to just cut that program completely and save a couple $100,000 to put back into the football program, which is very unfortunate that this is the life that we live, that everything goes to the big man and nobody really cares about the other programs. And it's not just gymnastics that suffers. I mean, there's plenty of other teams that also get cut. That's something at Nebraska, though, that I think is better than most colleges. Nebraska does a very good job of not cutting programs, obviously, but making sure that the smaller programs still have good funding. I mean, Nebraska not only has the best facilities for the smallest sports, but they also have the most amount of smaller sports. We have more sports here than just about any other Big Ten school. And we have the basics, the basketball, the football, the baseball, the softball, but then we also have rifle. We also have swimming and diving, which a lot of people have actually been cutting because it doesn't create enough revenue. And gymnastics is one of the most unpopular sports on the collegiate level. And Nebraska made it a point to give us the best facility, and we're allowed to eat at the training table. So we're considered the same level as the football players, which is very cool. It's an honor, and I love that respect that we get. But at the same time, any other school could look at this C tier sport program and say, well, they're not giving us enough money. Yeah, it might be cool. It might get a couple fans in, but we still have to make up this much money to pay these players. And this is just putting us more in debt. So I would say that 90% of the colleges are not willing to go into debt for something that they don't see worth it.
All right, yeah, makes some sense. It's good. Little peek behind the window there. Hopefully, we can continue to do that here on the Chock Box with Ty Roderiques. A look into the gymnastics world, but it'll be much more than that. I know you're a big college football fan as well, so we can talk a little bit about that this weekend games and just kind of the goings on. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more of the Chock Box with Ty Roderiques coming up next.
M-Suits Clothiers, Lincoln's favorite men's store, is having their end of season clearance sale. End of season clearance is going on now with up to 75% off. Stop in now for the best selection on polos, sport shirts, suits, sport coats, dress pants, and dress shirts. Suits as low as $299, sport coats starting at $199, dress shirts as low as $69, and polos starting at $49. M-Suits Clothiers is located 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. M-Suits Clothiers, your menswear store.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com. Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
If the power is out, traffic lights might be too. If you come across a dark intersection, treat it like a four-way stop. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
If the power is out, keep your fridge and freezer closed. Perishable food lasts 4 hours in the fridge, and frozen food lasts up to 2 days if it stays below 40 degrees. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
If the power is out, keep your fridge and freezer closed. Perishable food lasts 4 hours in the fridge, and frozen food lasts up to 2 days if it stays below 40 degrees. See more tips at les.com/safety.
We are back here on the Chock Box on 93.7 The Ticket. The Chock Box with Ty Roderiques, that is the freshman Nebraska gymnast is what I should just say. I should frame that a little bit better. But he is also a college football fan and a former resident of Knoxville, Tennessee. So I saw Tennessee did get the win yesterday, but I think you're going to give us the report on the Vols every week and let us know how Tennessee is doing. Looked like so far they may have won the Nico Iamaleava trade.
Oh, yes. They did. Well,
how'd they do?
They did pretty well. They played Syracuse in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and they won 45-26. You know, they had some mistakes, but they did their job. Joey Aguilar, new starting quarterback from Appalachian State and UCLA, played very well. 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. You know, he got the job done. He did exactly what he needed to do in his first Tennessee game. And I think he's got the fan base behind him now to be a very successful quarterback for them this year. And he played very well. The offense was playing very well as opposed to last year. Last year, it was very hard to get that offense moving with Nico. And as you could tell, Nico in his first game against Utah, they got belted. I mean, he completed 11 passes in that game for like 100 yards, a touchdown and a pick, 26-point deficit at the end of it. And he's begging for $4 million. So it's just comical to see that, as, you know, somebody that was a little bit upset when the starting quarterback of, you know, your hometown team leaves for money, and to see that the person that replaces him outperforms him in every aspect of the game. So yeah, it was very enjoyable to see.
Yeah, I can tell. And I think Tennessee fans probably enjoyed watching Nico struggle a little bit there.
Yeah.
And Nebraska fans have their own issues, I suppose, of maybe I don't want to say mistreatment of their own, but kind of having their own turn the tables on them and become the enemies with Scott Frost and Trev Alberts here recently. Was that kind of the reaction in Tennessee? Is Nico not a very not the most favorite former of all?
He's not the most favorite former of all. No, he's not the most favorite, unfortunately for him, and that's okay.
Yeah,
he was only here for a year. He didn't do too bad. We didn't have a terrible season.
Yeah,
but,
playoffs.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
you just move on.
Well, that's what we hope everybody does. But
Yeah.
obviously, a lot of people still are going to be stuck to that. But it's kind of interesting. Who is the most hated Vol? Would Lane Kiffin still be pretty? And people were pretty frustrated.
Lane Kiffin's pretty hated. I would say it's more of teams as opposed to individuals.
Yeah,
like the Gators, Alabama, Georgia. It's more of just those guys as opposed to individuals. But if you're trying to narrow it down to just one person, I would say Lane Kiffin. I don't know if you remember a couple years ago when Ole Miss came up to Rocky Top and everyone was throwing yellow golf balls on the field at him, and booing him. That game hurt my soul to see so many humans hating each other. But I mean, it's Lane Kiffin at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so
right.
Can't be too mad.
Yeah, he hasn't left a favorable impression on some of his stops that he's made. Now doing very well there at Ole Miss. Actually, was born in Lincoln. Monty Kiffin, his dad. Yeah, so that's always kind of an interesting connection there. But it's kind of fun to run through there. So you said that the teams that I expected you to say. What order is the hate for Alabama, Florida, and Georgia? Do you think is there a chief rival among them?
I would say Alabama at 1, Florida at 2, Georgia at 3.
Okay.
But it's all very close between the
Yeah.
So,
But it's pretty close there. Fair enough. What is your favorite Tennessee football memory growing up?
Going to the Alabama game in 2023 when they first beat them and they rushed the field. One of the best moments of my life.
Yeah.
And I remember this grandpa was sitting behind me. He tapped on my back as everyone started rushing down. And he was like, "You remember this for the rest of your life." And I said, "Okay." And I plan on doing that. So
yeah,
it was a great memory.
Field stormings, you don't get to be a part of them too often. So
Yeah.
I've been fun. I've been a part of one of those, and same thing with court stormings might happen a little bit more often. But yeah, those are memories that you definitely want to keep close to you. And that team was awesome. I mean, I remember that was the Hendon Hooker teams. The first half of the year, they
Jalen Hyatt, man.
Yeah, they could have won the national championship.
Yeah, if
maybe,
he didn't
right
go
up
down.
there. Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. The other thing I was kind of thinking over the weekend is watching Arch Manning struggle there at Texas. How I mean, I just got to imagine because I can only think the jersey sales if he would have went to Tennessee.
Yeah. would have been impressive.
Was Tennessee hopeful for that for Arch Manning to come, or was there more of an expectation of Ole Miss or somewhere else would get him?
I don't know. I think that people were hopeful, but we also had Nico coming in.
Yeah.
So I think everyone was just excited about that. But man, Arch Manning did struggle against Ohio State, and I've been saying it all summer. I think he's a bust. I really do. I think he's a very talented quarterback, but I don't think he sees the field very well, and I don't think he handles pressure very well. And I think if he's this great phenom who's supposed to go number 1 in the draft this year, then he should have been competing and playing last year as opposed to Quinn Ewers. Because, yes, Quinn had been there for 3 years more than he had. But if Arch was supposed to be this great guy that everyone was hyping him up to be, and if he was genuinely this talented and going to be a future New York Giant, because we all know they're going to have the first overall pick, then he should have been playing more than just on 3rd and 1 read option plays last year.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you got to think maybe the Longhorns might have won with Quinn Ewers yesterday.
Maybe they would have.
At behind the.
I think they actually would have.
Yeah,
because Ohio State this year, I do think Ohio State is still legit, and right now they are my pick for the title, the national title, but they still have holes. They have a lot of holes. I mean, how good is Julian Sayin going to be? We don't know. I think at best a B+ grade on the year. Jeremiah Smith is obviously the best wide receiver in the country right now, but he struggled yesterday.
Yeah.
In these early games, there's a reason that the College Football Playoff Committee doesn't really care about an early season loss, because these games don't matter as opposed to the games in October when teams get their roll. And I think that this was a game that Texas, coming in as the top ranked team, really should have taken. I mean, I really think that they should have been able to win this one. And they had the guys. They have more experience. They have more depth. They have more age than Ohio State. And I think if Quinn Ewers was the quarterback, I think that this game, would have been a lot closer. But I think that Texas could have been able to put up more than 7 points through 4 quarters.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a defensive battle, and Arch Manning is going to fall pretty highly off those Heisman Trophy favorites list.
Yes, he will.
They're going to have to kind of figure some things out there in Austin. Of course, here in Nebraska, that's okay. We can watch Texas lose, and we won't lose any sleep over it. How have you adjusted? Did you watch the Nebraska game? What were your thoughts?
I did.
That? Yeah,
I was pleasantly surprised. I was. I've heard good things all summer about how Nebraska is going to be pretty good this year, so I was looking forward to it. Dylan Raiola looked a little bit better than last year. I still think that he has some improvement to make. Edmond Johnson was the biggest player that impressed me in that game. I've been watching like the offseason reports on him, and he's been the notable key player of this offense, and he showed why. So he definitely impressed me. The wide receiving core looked very good as well. The defense looked solid. The game clinching interception was obviously phenomenal, but I think this year's going to be good. I think they're going to be probably an 8-win team, but I was proud.
Yeah,
I was proud of that game. My head coach actually went to go watch it.
Oh, okay.
In Arrowhead, but I thought it was good. I watched the whole thing, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Now, do you get involved at all, or were you excited that Travis and Taylor Swift got engaged and all that? Are you one to pay attention to socialites?
I mean, I don't really care. I saw it. I acknowledged it. I mean, congratulations to them, but I can't say I'm flipping my lid over that.
That didn't do anything. Yeah. It was kind of interesting. I went to the game too, and it was just so.
Yeah.
There was there's so much star power in the building with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but it was just everybody was looking, and I think it was partially because we didn't know if Taylor would be there.
Yeah.
But it was weird because it can't help explain it to any football fan that knows the best football player of the last decade of a generation, and Patrick Mahomes was there, and yet everybody was
looking for Taylor.
Yeah, a full stadium worth of football fans didn't really care that the best player in the world was there. They're just kind of looking for Taylor Swift. So star power is interesting, and kind of where it comes from, and all that. So that'll be kind of fun to look forward to the future. But it was a little bit unlike any other football game I've been to, just because the it couple felt like the king and the queen were sitting up there watching.
No, exactly. If I had $1 for every second of screen time that Taylor Swift had at a sports outing, I would be a millionaire.
Oh yeah,
I would be able to pay all of these football players that need these salaries. But I don't know. I think the thing that impressed me most about that game was how well the fans traveled. How well the fans travel for every sport here in Nebraska. My parents went to a Nebraska volleyball game today in Nashville, a tournament, and they were sending me pictures, and there's so many Nebraska fans everywhere. And the culture, the pride, I love it. I love to see how many Husker fans there are out there.
Now, and again, this is kind of an unfair situation to put you in, but Nebraska, Tennessee, football, I can understand. You might go with your first love. For most sports, are you kind of? I mean, you are a Husker. You're a Husker athlete.
I'm a Husker.
Are you kind of coming around to starting your favorite college team? Maybe football excluded is Nebraska.
I am coming around to being a Husker on all fronts. Tennessee may still have me on football, but I am a Husker, and I will always. If the Huskers are on, I'm always gonna be cheering the Huskers. If the Vols are on, I'm always gonna be cheering the Vols. If they play each other, my hands are in the air, and I'm not saying anything. I'm fine with whatever happens.
Well, fair enough. I think that's a pretty good way to kind of look at it. We'll take a quick break. We've got one more segment here on the Chock Box with Ty Roderiques. You can hear it every week, every Sunday at this time, 5 to 6. as we get this thing rolling. It'll be a lot of fun this upcoming fall and forward on past that as we kind of get into gymnastics season 2. We'll see what the schedule kind of looks like there, but we'll talk more coming up next year with Ty on 93.7 The Ticket.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
If the power is out, keep your fridge and freezer closed. Perishable food lasts 4 hours in the fridge, and frozen food lasts up to 2 days if it stays below 40 degrees. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, where your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. We are back for one final segment here of the Chock Box with Ty Roderiques here on 93.7 The Ticket. Ty is part of our new show that we just kind of introduced their new freshman gymnast on Nebraska's campus. So we're going to get to know him very well, and hopefully as we kind of go about it, Ty, why don't you let people know why you're interested in radio? It might have a little something to do with what you're doing at school, right?
I am a sports media major here at the university, so this is kind of all my field, and I love it. I love talking about sports and engaging with people. It's a lot of fun.
So we talked a little bit of college football, and we can continue doing that here. We'll do plenty of that on this show, I'm sure, as it goes on. What are your kind of favorite sports outside of gymnastics?
Football, basketball, volleyball. I'd say those are my top three.
There you go. And did you play any other sports?
No, not really.
Up?
I mean, I did like rec stuff growing up. I did like soccer and that stuff. But
yeah,
I was kind of all about gymnastics.
Well, if you give us a little bit, I play a lot of pickup basketball. So I'm going to need a little bit of your scouting report here. If you're out there on the court, what is it that you're bringing to the table?
I love basketball. I'm a sharp shooter.
Oh, there you go.
The arc. No, I'm not very good.
No,
but it's hard when you're lacking in height.
Sure, yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
I love playing basketball with my friends.
So. Yeah, are you particularly fast? I mean, you're pretty quick.
I would say I'm pretty fast twitch.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And I dropped it a little bit earlier. And you just said, yeah, we could do that. You can do a standing backflip.
I can, yes, sir.
What percentage of college gymnasts would you say can do it?
100%.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's
I
part
would
of
say
the
every gymnast above the age of like 7 can do it.
Yeah, fair enough. It's something that how often are you asked to do with that?
Often.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it gets annoying.
It's so impressive. I mean, to normal humans, that's incredible to see that done. But I had a friend that was a gymnast in college too, and it was just every party, every social setting. Once word gets out, this guy can do a standing backflip. You're just going to be asked to do it.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Do you typically go ahead and do it, or do you just say, no, you know what, guys, that's enough?
No. Yeah. Maybe in middle school, yeah, but nowadays, no.
Yeah. It's just too much. But that is kind of fun. So, what are your favorite sports teams? Obviously, we know that the Volunteers. Is that your first love of teams in general?
Yeah, I would say. I also, I mean, obviously, I'm a Husker now, so
yeah,
Nebraska's at the top. I love. My family's from Boston, or my dad's side of the family's from Boston. So the Patriots and the Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, like that four, we like them a lot. I used to like the Titans a lot when they were really good, and I haven't really been following their games more. But yeah, I would say that those are like my teams that I follow more, but I follow everything in general, but those are like the teams I root for.
Sure. Favorite athletes?
Like all time or just current?
Yeah, let's go all time.
All time. I don't know. That's such a hard question. That is such a hard question. I like Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for his like obviously being an incredible football player, but Tom Brady was such a motivational person. I don't know if you've ever seen like his videos of him just talking about his journey and himself.
Oh yeah.
He's one of my favorites for sure. Not like a sport athlete, but I love David Goggins, the runner. He's great. Muhammad Ali. Those are some of the guys all time I like. More current, I would say I really like Ryan Williams at Alabama. I like what he's got going on. because I understand what it's like to be like a young guy who's in a really hard position in your sport. And I think that he's handling it really well. And I have a lot of respect for him. You know, he's a big like social media guy, but I have a lot of respect for him. So
Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of star power, between him and Caden Proctor kind of struggled there, the tackle. But just watching that game was like, man, they still got some names out here. But still just weren't able to get it done. Florida State took care of them.
Man, Alabama is just, they're so out of the dynasty now. And it's frustrating. I mean, I hate them, but it's frustrating to see because they, under Nick Saban, were so by the book. You can't be a minute late to practice, very hardcore, but they got the job done. And now that Brian DeBoer is the coach, you see players putting their Twitch streams and their TikTok lives ahead of practice. And they're taking NIL so serious that they're not in the gym working. They're not in the practice field putting in the extra work. And it shows. I mean, Florida State was 2-10 last year, and they just belted Alabama at a 3:30 game. It wasn't even a night game in a tough environment. It was a 3:30 middle of the day game, season opener, and Alabama just could not get anything moving. And I know that Nick Saban was flipping in his room that night. Just I wouldn't even doubt it if he came back.
Yeah,
because it's embarrassing what's going on down in Tuscaloosa right now.
It's going to be interesting to see how that season goes on because, as we know, like you said, Florida State really struggled last year. Now they have a heck of a coaching staff, but we're going to see it this week. They're going to be top 15 in the polls, whatever. But we don't even know if they're good, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we don't know.
Alabama is not good,
right?
I am not buying any Florida State hype at all. They have disappointed every single year. You see them ranked in the top 5 every single year, and they always are heavier in the L column as opposed to the win column. I am never going to buy Florida State hype ever again. They'll bounce to probably like number 14.
Oh yeah,
coming up soon whenever the rankings come out, and they'll be a 5-loss team this year.
Yeah, that's what it's hard to tell after week 1, especially short sample size, to see what that kind of is and got going. So let me ask you this as we kind of get to it. Obviously, the modern day of athletes, of college athletics, NIL, transfer portal, all that. We talked about the kind of the limited amount of opportunities there as far as schools offering men's gymnastics. Has NIL hit gymnastics at all? Is there opportunities there?
A little bit. Definitely not like these other sports, but it's evident. I mean, some people in their scholarships will have NIL included, but obviously it's not real money. It's just stuff that they say they're going to give you. So it's kind of a big question mark in that. But you'll see certain smaller companies, DM Instagram gymnasts and be like, "Hey, $50 if you post me on your story or on your Twitter, your Facebook."
Sure.
So it's smaller stuff like that. I mean, in football, it's like $5 million brand deal for this guy to use their cologne or something.
Sure.
So obviously gymnastics, it's like the same thing, just on a very smaller scale. But they'll request you to make a lot of videos for them. So if it's like my buddy did an NIL deal for Casey's about a year ago. So he went into the gas station and made a video about it.
Sure.
So it's pretty basic, but you're not allowed to film NIL videos in the gym. So if you're talking about a brand, you're not allowed to film that in the gym. It has to be outside of the gym. I guess just like NCAA rules, like people peeping on practice, you can't really have that. So you have to do it all outside of the gym. And the NIL exists. It's not nearly as high as any other sport, but it does exist and it does pay well. It's not in the thousands, but it is in the hundreds.
Is it similar to a lot of kind of the sports outside of football where a lot of it depends on your following, basically your social media following would help more so than how good you are at gymnastics, maybe even?
But I would say the better you are at the sport, the more following you're going to have.
Sure.
Because, people in the sport know your name and they'll look you up. But if you're somebody that's just not very active on social media, then obviously you're not going to have a high following. But some of the best gymnasts in the country tend to have the highest following. So it kind of works out that way.
Is it is social media something that you're particularly interested in trying to get going?
Yeah. I am.
Is what is that kind of journey been like? Of course, that's been around, a lot longer. It's less new to the new college athlete, but it's still kind of in maybe it's infancy stages of what it will be.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what I can do. Just trying to build my following, build my brand, just so I can see where that takes me. But I'm not trying to be like an influencer or anything. I'm just testing the waters.
Yeah. What do you primarily kind of do? Instagram or?
Yeah, Instagram,
Yeah.
TikTok. I like to post just training videos, updates, all that stuff.
Yeah, well, that'll be cool. Go ahead and give out your handles. We'll put them on the bottom of the screen here
Okay,
eventually,
I
and
will.
maybe we can help you out a little bit.
I appreciate that.
What is your handle?
Ty.R_gymnast1.
Well, there you go. Hopefully, a few people will go out there and search that out. We'll put that on the bottom of the screen, and we'll help build that following up, and maybe be able to get you some deals down the line. Hopefully. So again, he is Ty Roderiques. If you enjoyed the show, well, come back. Come back next Sunday. We'll do this every Sunday at this time. The Chock Box with Ty Roderiques. Ty, thanks again for stopping in.
Of course. Thank you so much.
All right, there he goes. He's going to have a fun week. We'll have plenty more to talk about. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the post-up with Kaylee Danker coming up here on 93.7 The Ticket.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs? When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility